Greetings, Tabula Rasa, Layer 1, Part 3. So I did it. I watched the last two parts of Layer 1, and here are the notes of what I think I need to reiterate on and add to. Dig deep, find more. That was the first common thing. I believe I got what's necessary for Layer 1 across the way I want to, but I want to stress dig deep, find more. You're combing the list that you're doing right now. Dig and dig more. Really spend time on this. I realize it can be burdensome, but this is really necessary, and you'll see it, especially as we go through the future levels of Tabula Rasa. I want you to retain these, and you'll see how important it is also in noting your progress. So don't be in a hurry here in this cleansing phase. This cleansing that we're doing as we move into actually doing Tabula Rasa on the market itself in Layer 2 is pivotal. The cleansing is pivotal. It's the word that was popping up as I watched that 50 minutes of the first two parts was introspection, the contemplation on what you bring to the table right now, not what you'd like to be, but what you really truly have right now. And I mentioned on that part that if you find that this really is, there's not all that much that's working for you right now, that isn't a problem. In fact, it may be the best thing, because we really do have a Tabula Rasa going on a clean slate, and we can start from there, and we will build, and we'll build rapidly. So contemplation on what you bring to the table right now, what items that you have mastered and that you truly feel. Don't lie to yourself. I really feel like this is something I'd like to put into the program, that I'd like to build into my own trading game plan. And we'll do that. Like I say, we're not going to just create clones. We're going to let every individual bring to the table what they have and then build on there with certain things like the pivot lumber trading system that can help all of those different items. More on that in just one second. We're building the edge, what has to go and what has to stay. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. If there's something there that truly is something you feel comfortable with and has bottom line been performing for you, let's integrate that into the system. Sweep it out so that we can move onward. Sweeping out so that we can move onward. One of the other questions that I was thinking while I was watching was, how do you behave in a certain situation? The situational trading will be, this is going to be something you're going to continue, as after every night we're going to be doing the list of things that we should be watching in the market the next day from a detached standpoint as the observer. And we want to see how you behave to these what's your reactions? Again, what is that process of bubbling up? We want to see how you react to certain things, and then we can go from there and deal with it. What opposite must be executed to create the equilibrium? Watching what bubbles up, keeping the list. So the preparatory work is dig deep, find more. The process of the progress on the training classes that we're going to be doing as we build rapidly now, completely dependent on what we're doing here in Layer 1. That's why we're spending so much time on it. Now, I'd like to throw something else out here that came to me. I thought this is the appropriate time to discuss it. And you'll see this happen while you're keeping your lists. And like I said, don't throw them away. Because what's going to happen is you're going to start seeing patterns within the lists. And I submit to you that as they grow, and as you're writing down more things that are bubbling up, that you're going to see that at some point in your development, there are 4 main groups of these, quote, problem areas. There are 4 main areas, and at first perhaps you only have 10 things listed on your list that you want to look at. As that builds and builds and builds, and you're watching in the market each day and testing in the market laboratory, you're going to be adding more to that list. So retain them. And then what's going to happen, this may be a few months down the road, you're going to see some patterns develop in it. That is so important, and then I'm going to come back to you with that and ask you, did you see those patterns? Because then we'll handle them in a slightly different way. So 4 main groups, just kind of planting the seed there, will develop. Study your list carefully and retain them. We're talking about seizing control. We're talking about establishing flow. Easily seeing the dramatic changes in your trading approach through correct Tabula Rasa skills. It should be very apparent here over the next few weeks just exactly how different you're going about trading if in fact you've executed the safe time of Tabula Rasa correctly. By exposing these principles to the market itself. We're now moving, not where we're battling the market, but we're moving into a situation where we're cooperating with the market, and in fact, the market is offering us that acid test of checking, a market laboratory, I call it, of seeing exactly where we stand every day. How is the market reacting to our data? And also, of course, important, how are you reacting to that situation? And then we can make the adjustments that are necessary. One thing that I don't think I spent enough time with on the first two parts of Layer 1 was energy management. We certainly will talk more about this at a later date, but right now it's important that you realize you simply can't waste energy on areas where loss of control and game plan deviation has occurred. This is frequently seen where you're actually literally feeding energy into these mistake areas. You just can't do it because it's a twofold problem that leads to just an unwinding of so many traders. And what I've seen is this could be the situation where a very valid trading system implodes because you fail to let's say you fail to follow one of the stop out rules, and so you're holding the line and it starts to get away from you. Well, not only are you worried about that and you're feeding more and more energy and growing that situation on the mistake, you're depleting yourself from energy over here on the new trades. And you see where this comes in. I'm sure we all have done this time and again, but it has to be conscious on your part that you're not going to allow that to happen again. You have to be ruthless with eliminating the mistakes because we just don't have the energy we can't put it there. We don't have it to spend. We've got to be concentrating on the potential trades and what to do with the profits and allowing them to run. So that magical time that we're going to be talking about, that specific time that we're going to be spending approximately 10 Eastern time, and you can do it later in the night. I'm not trying to say you have to be there at that exact time, but it'll be available each night for the homework. And what's going to happen is you need to be in a situation where you're concentrating only on the potential areas and the profit-taking potentials. You're not dealing with the losses and building them by an actual situation of moving energy into those areas. So again, what that leads to is something we talked about on the introduction, and that is the freeze. So what causes the freeze? The loss of control. This is one of the ways. Improper energy management. Much more on that as we go through the areas. Building an edge. We've talked about that. A few other thoughts on that. A glimpse perhaps at the future. At some point in this process of going through all of these trading classes together, the edge becomes market dominance. And you're going to see that situation, or what we would call lessons learned and lessons applied. And you'll start to see the market dominance comes in, and at some point you will uncover clearly, and you will, your market segment or a personal arena, I call it, of operation. This is a natural unfolding of tabula rasa if it's done correctly. You will see lessons learned, lessons applied. You will see your own special segment or personal arena of operation come out. And it's just a wonderful time to see that. It's an area where you just absolutely feel like you have market dominance, and in fact you do. Market cooperating very much with you in that personal arena. So it's extremely important to correctly determine, keep your notes, determine where you are in the process of the edge, because this is the data that we're going to plug into moving in your trader's office. Okay, which is basically a tightening of the time frame. It's more than that. But to move eloquently from one trader's office to the next, you need to have this personal area of operation determined clearly. And so this is what will happen as you build the edge, and then we move you through the trader's offices. One thing that's come up and have been asked over the years many times at seminars was, are traders born or are they trained? And I think this is the time to discuss that. My answer is that traders can be trained if they are born with the sense to follow the laws. So that's the real bottom line of this. So if you say to yourself, well, maybe there's the people that are the people that just do, they're just born to do this. They're born to follow the laws. If you know that, and that you have to follow the laws of the market, then we can train you to trade the market. In reviewing yourself, one of the things that came up there in the personal combing through the data was the concept of power of perception, and just how critical that is to the successful trader. This involves, and again, we'll expand on this and even nightly in the homework. The observation, that the words that we've used in the introduction and here so far on the in-class, observation, a real tightening and honing of your awareness skills and comprehension. And these are the foundation, these are things of perception that will come out because of tabula rasa working. If you're executing tabula rasa on its many levels properly, these will be the byproduct. These will, the power of perception will come out. And perception, as William Blake said, if the doors of perception were cleansed, man would see everything as it is, infinite. For man has closed himself up till he sees all things through narrow chinks in his cavern. How will you know when you're intent to work through layer 1, stressing the word intent, to work through layer 1 of tabula rasa is taking hold? Perhaps you will sense a feeling of relief, unburdening. Many traders will feel a lighter feeling in your operations. And that shows that you're ready to move to layer 2 of tabula rasa. Welcome to the path of photogenesis. See you in class.